struggle, injustice, and marginalization. Behind the bright lights, glamorous premieres, and applause of audiences lies a history of systemic racism, prejudice, and power abuse that has shaped the careers and lives of countless talented women. From the early 20th century onward, black actresses were confronted with a harsh reality. The color of their skin could determine not only the roles they were allowed to play but also whether they could sustain a career at all. Hazel Scott was one of the first women to experience this brutal combination of talent, fame, and discrimination. A brilliant pianist, singer, and television host, Hazel's career was a beacon of possibility in the 1940s and 1950s. Her performances were not only entertaining but also culturally significant, as she used her platform to challenge racial stereotypes and speak out against injustice. Hazel's courage, however, made her a target. J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, monitored her activism and accused her of communist sympathies without evidence. His influence over Hollywood was immense, and soon producers began canceling contracts, including her pioneering television program, The Hazel Scott Show. This marked one of the earliest examples of a black woman being systematically punished for using her platform to fight for equality. Hazel lost her primary income and was forced to sell her New York home. Her public appearances were reduced, her piano performances cancelled, and she faced the emotional and financial strain of being blacklisted. Though she later attempted to rebuild her career, she never fully regained her earlier prominence. Hazel's story exemplifies the unique challenges faced by black actresses who dared to combine talent with activism. Her life, like many others, reflects the broader struggles of black women navigating a film industry that demanded compliance and submission while limiting artistic freedom. Fredi Washington, a rising star in 1930s Hollywood, faced a different yet equally oppressive challenge. After gaining fame for her role as Peeler in Imitation of Life, 1934, she was at the peak of her career. MGM mogul Louis B. Mayer offered her leading roles on one condition: she would have to pass as white. While this could have opened doors to fame and financial stability, Fredi refused to deny her racial identity. Her decision to remain proudly black was a powerful act of integrity, but it came at a high cost. Mayer blacklisted her, spreading rumors that she was difficult and uncooperative, and prevented directors from casting her in significant roles. Forced out of Hollywood, Fredi moved to Harlem, where she performed in smaller theaters and took jobs unrelated to her craft to survive. Her story shows the persistent tension between talent and systemic oppression in the entertainment industry and highlights the personal cost of maintaining dignity in a racially biased society. Similarly, Juanita Moore, who starred in the 1959 version of Imitation of Life, faced marginalization despite her extraordinary talent. Her portrayal of Annie, a black mother, was emotionally compelling, but she fought to make her character more authentic and nuanced. Douglas Sirk, the film's director, resisted her efforts and threatened to fire her, labeling her as difficult. As a result, her reputation in Hollywood suffered, leading to limited opportunities for leading roles and forcing her to take smaller parts to support her family. Juanita's experience reflects the broader systemic issue of typecasting, where black actresses were often confined to one-dimensional roles that reinforced stereotypes. These roles not only limited career growth but also perpetuated social narratives that marginalized black women on and off screen. Ruby Dee, another iconic figure, illustrates the intersection of activism and artistic suppression. Alongside her husband, Ossie Davis, Ruby fought tirelessly for civil rights, participating in marches, delivering speeches, and advocating for equality. Her vocal activism attracted unwanted attention from authorities during the Red Scare, resulting in accusations of communist sympathies and blacklisting from major film and stage projects. Roles she had previously been promised were cancelled, and she faced exclusion from Broadway productions. Despite these obstacles, Ruby continued her artistic and activist work, demonstrating resilience and unwavering commitment to justice. Her career trajectory reminds us that in a racially biased industry, talent alone was not enough, the ability to navigate systemic prejudice was equally crucial. Bea Richards, celebrated for her work on stage and in film, also faced systemic exclusion due to her activism. She was targeted by the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover, accused of communist sympathies because of her outspoken support for civil rights. Richards lost major opportunities in Hollywood, leading to financial hardship and emotional strain. She took on menial work while caring for family members, demonstrating both resilience and the harsh realities of navigating a racially biased industry. Richard's story highlights the consistent pattern of suppression faced by black women who dared to challenge societal and institutional norms. Theresa Harris, an accomplished actress in the 1930s, was repeatedly typecast in stereotypical roles, such as maids or background performers. When she requested opportunities to play more substantial parts, she faced resistance from powerful studio executives like Mervyn LeRoy, who spread false narratives portraying her as difficult. As a result, Harris was forced to accept minor roles, take on manual labor, and live in financial insecurity. Her story exemplifies the pervasive typecasting and marginalization of black actresses in early Hollywood, revealing a system structured to maintain white dominance and suppress artistic expression among talented black women. Nina Mae McKinney, the first black woman signed to MGM, experienced a similar trajectory. Her success in Hallelujah, 1929, brought initial fame, but she was confined to stereotypical roles, denied more complex parts, and eventually had her contract terminated. MGM executives instructed directors to avoid hiring her, effectively erasing her from mainstream Hollywood. McKinney performed in small European venues, earning modest recognition, but her return to the United States found her marginalized and financially insecure. Her story reflects the broader pattern of early promise being systematically undermined by racism and studio control, highlighting the immense obstacles black actresses faced in sustaining long-term careers. Abbey Lincoln, a talented singer and actress, faced career setbacks due to her activism and refusal to compromise her principles. In 1960, she was asked to tone down her political engagement to audition for West Side Story. Lincoln refused, and director Robert Wise removed her from consideration, replacing her with Natalie Wood. This decision not only denied her a dream role but also damaged her reputation in Hollywood, limiting future opportunities. Lincoln's experience illustrates how speaking out against injustice or maintaining personal convictions often carried a professional cost for black actresses. Ruby Dandridge, mother of Dorothy Dandridge, endured systemic marginalization despite her talent and dedication. She was confined to supporting roles, often portraying domestic workers or minor characters, and her requests for more substantial roles were rejected. Studio executives spread false narratives about her being difficult to work with, further limiting her career prospects. Dandridge supplemented her income through menial labor and faced financial insecurity, highlighting the recurring theme of systemic barriers, typecasting, and racial prejudice in Hollywood. Other notable actresses, including Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, and Hattie McDaniel, also navigated complex systems of oppression. They were often forced to choose between integrity and opportunity, fame and dignity. These decisions were rarely without consequences, as careers could be stalled, opportunities denied, and reputations tarnished. Collectively, these stories reveal a Hollywood system that consistently punished black actresses who refused to conform to racial stereotypes, challenged authority, or advocated for equality. Despite these challenges, these women displayed remarkable resilience, paving the way for future generations. Their struggles underscore the importance of remembering their contributions, understanding the systemic barriers they faced, and acknowledging the sacrifices they made to maintain both dignity and artistry in an unjust industry. The stories of these black actresses are not only accounts of personal struggle but also a reflection of the systemic racism deeply embedded within Hollywood's power structures. The industry, particularly from the 1920s through the 1960s, was dominated by white male executives who controlled casting decisions, production budgets, and publicity. This concentration of power created an environment in which black talent was heavily restricted and black actresses were routinely marginalized, typecast, or outright excluded from high-profile roles. Hazel Scott's experience exemplifies the intersection of artistry, activism, and oppression. Her defiance in speaking against racial injustice and her contributions as a musician and television host drew the attention of J. Edgar Hoover, who targeted her with baseless accusations of communist affiliations. Hollywood producers, wary of associating with controversial figures, rescinded contracts, including the pioneering Hazel Scott Show. The loss of her platform not only curtailed her career but forced her to endure financial hardship and social marginalization. Hazel's story illustrates the double bind faced by black women. The courage to speak out came at the cost of professional stability, creating a cycle of punishment for principled actions. Freddie Washington's refusal to conform to racial passing underscores another dimension of systemic oppression. By declining to present herself as white in order to secure leading roles, she challenged the colorist norms deeply entrenched in Hollywood. Louis B. Mayer's punitive response, blacklisting her, spreading damaging rumors, and denying access to key roles, demonstrates how studio moguls wielded power to enforce racial hierarchies. Forced to relocate to Harlem, Freddie continued performing in smaller theaters, highlighting both the resilience of black actresses and the barriers that denied them mainstream success. Her story reflects a recurring tension in Hollywood, the conflict between artistic integrity and survival in an industry structured to reward compliance with racist expectations. Juanita Moore's efforts to expand the depth of her character in Imitation of Life exemplify the systemic limitations placed on black actresses' artistic expression. Director Douglas Sirk's resistance and threats to fire her for attempting to portray a richer, more authentic character not only reinforced racial stereotypes but damaged Moore's professional reputation. Despite earning an Academy Award nomination, she struggled to secure prominent roles, demonstrating that recognition did not guarantee sustained opportunity in a prejudiced industry. Similarly, Ruby Dee's activism made her a target for government scrutiny during the Red Scare. Accusations of communist sympathies led to blacklisting from film and stage projects, highlighting the broader societal mechanisms used to suppress politically active black artists. Dee's career trajectory reflects the high cost of combining artistry with advocacy, a choice that required courage and resilience. Bea Richards' story further emphasizes the intersection of race, politics, and professional opportunity. Targeted by the FBI for her civil rights activism, she faced lost opportunities, isolation within Hollywood, and financial and emotional strain. Her experience underscores how systemic oppression was enforced not only through studio policies but also through government surveillance and societal pressure, creating multiple layers of obstacles for black women pursuing careers in entertainment. Teresa Harris, meanwhile, faced marginalization due to typecasting and studio control. Powerful executives limited her to minor roles, spread false narratives about her personality, and forced her to rely on manual labor for survival. Harris' experience reflects the structural limitations placed on black actresses and the pervasive nature of discrimination in Hollywood. Nina Mae McKinney's career trajectory highlights the fragility of opportunity for black women in the early film industry. Despite early success in Hallelujah, she was denied meaningful roles, terminated from her contract, and effectively blacklisted. McKinney's subsequent work in European venues, while commendable, did not replicate the fame and financial stability she might have achieved in Hollywood, illustrating the systematic barriers that prevented black actresses from sustaining long-term success. Abby Lincoln's refusal to compromise her activism similarly demonstrates the professional risks faced by black women. Being removed from the audition for West Side Story due to her political stance exemplifies how principled resistance could hinder opportunities and damage reputations. Ruby Dandridge's experiences reinforce the pattern of marginalization. Despite her talent, she was consistently offered minor roles, often portraying domestic workers, and faced false narratives questioning her professionalism. Her need to take supplemental work outside the entertainment industry reflects both resilience and the persistent financial instability created by systemic racism. Other notable actresses, including Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, and Hattie McDaniel, also navigated these oppressive structures, often making painful compromises to maintain visibility while resisting typecasting. Collectively, the experiences of these 15 women reveal a persistent pattern. Black actresses were routinely punished for asserting identity, challenging authority, or advocating for social change. Yet despite these challenges, their legacy is remarkable. These women paved the way for future generations, breaking barriers that once seemed insurmountable. They demonstrated that talent, resilience, and integrity could endure even in the face of systemic oppression. Remembering their stories is not only an act of honoring their lives but also a reflection on the ongoing struggle for equity and representation in the entertainment industry. Their experiences reveal the cost of standing against injustice, the courage required to maintain identity in a biased system, and the power of perseverance in shaping cultural history. By acknowledging their struggles and contributions, we ensure that these black actresses are not forgotten, and their work continues to inspire both artists and audiences alike. The legacy of these black actresses extends far beyond the films they made or the roles they played, it encompasses their impact on culture, society, and the generations of artists who came after them. The struggles faced by Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, Juanita Moore, Ruby Dee, Bea Richards, Teresa Harris, Nina Mae McKinney, Abbey Lincoln, Ruby Dandridge, and others reflect the deeply entrenched systemic racism of Hollywood, but they also illuminate a profound courage and resilience that continues to inspire today. By standing firm in their identity, refusing to accept limiting stereotypes, and advocating for civil rights, these women created a foundation for change that slowly shifted the entertainment industry. Their experiences also highlight a larger truth about representation, that when marginalized voices are silenced or erased, society loses not only the individual's artistry but also the stories, perspectives, and cultural richness they bring. This realization has influenced modern conversations around equity, inclusion, and the need for diverse voices in media. Contemporary Black actresses, such as Viola Davis, Regina King, Zendaya, and Lupita Nyong'o, stand on the shoulders of these pioneers, benefiting from paths carved decades earlier, yet still confronting challenges rooted in the same historical inequities. The cultural impact of these women can be seen not only in the history of film but also in the continued relevance of the roles they shaped, the barriers they broke, and the conversations they started about race, power, and identity. Hazel Scott's activism and musical brilliance, for instance, brought the intersection of art and social justice into public awareness, demonstrating that performance can be a form of resistance. Fredi Washington's refusal to pass as white challenged Hollywood's colorist standards and set an example for generations of Black artists insisting on authenticity. Juanita Moore's insistence on adding depth to her characters illustrated that Black women could portray complexity, emotion, and humanity, rather than being reduced to caricatures. Ruby Dee, Bea Richards, and Abbey Lincoln exemplified the intertwining of artistic excellence and political engagement, showing that creativity and advocacy are not mutually exclusive, even when such stances came with professional risks. These historical examples are now studied, celebrated, and remembered in film history courses, documentaries, and cultural discussions, highlighting how these women shaped not just entertainment but broader social narratives. Modern parallels reveal that while progress has been made, many challenges persist. Pay disparities, typecasting, limited leading roles, and systemic barriers continue to affect Black actresses today. The courage and sacrifices of the women in this story act as both inspiration and a benchmark, showing that the fight for equity in Hollywood is ongoing. By examining their lives, contemporary audiences and industry professionals are reminded of the importance of vigilance, advocacy, and inclusion. Moreover, these stories teach a critical lesson, that the recognition of talent must be accompanied by respect for identity, culture, and voice. When Hollywood failed Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, and their peers, it demonstrated the consequences of prioritizing profit and conformity over integrity and artistic truth. Yet the persistence and resilience of these women also serve as a testament to the human spirit, showing that even in the face of systemic oppression, one can leave an indelible mark on history. Remembering these actresses is not only a tribute to their struggles but a call to action for current and future generations. It is a reminder that visibility, representation, and equity require ongoing effort, and that the stories of those silenced in the past hold lessons for the present. Each role denied, each opportunity lost, and each act of resistance tells us about the cost of challenging powerful systems and the value of courage. Hazel Scott's music still resonates, Ruby Dee's performances and advocacy continue to inspire, Abbey Lincoln's songs echo the resilience of an entire community, and Fredi Washington's stand for authenticity remains a model of integrity. These women's legacies also underscore the collective responsibility of the industry, audiences, and society to honor their contributions by ensuring that today's Black actresses can thrive without fear of marginalization or discrimination. The endurance of their stories in cultural memory is crucial. Documentaries, biographies, academic studies, and tributes ensure that these actresses are not forgotten. By sharing their histories, audiences gain a deeper understanding of the systemic challenges that shaped Hollywood and the extraordinary resilience of those who resisted. The stories of Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, Juanita Moore, Ruby Dee, Bea Richards, Teresa Harris, Nina Mae McKinney, Abbey Lincoln, Ruby Dandridge, and others collectively reveal a pattern. Talent and excellence were often punished when paired with integrity, identity, and advocacy. Yet their persistence, artistry, and courage forged a legacy that cannot be erased. Today, When black actresses achieve acclaim, win awards, or take on leading roles in mainstream films and television, they do so in a space that was first shaped by the sacrifices of these pioneers. Their lives remind us that systemic barriers can be challenged, that voices once silenced can resonate across generations, and that the fight for equity and recognition is a journey built on the bravery of those who came before. By reflecting on these lives, audiences are offered not just stories of loss and oppression, but narratives of resilience, hope, and inspiration. The lessons embedded in their experiences teach that the intersection of talent, integrity, and advocacy can create enduring cultural change. Hollywood may have tried to silence their voices, limit their opportunities, and erase their achievements, but the enduring legacy of these black actresses continues to illuminate paths for future generations, inspire audiences around the world, and serve as a powerful reminder of the value of courage, identity, and artistic integrity. Even today, the struggles of black actresses echo in Hollywood, reminding us that the fight for equality is ongoing. Despite significant progress in representation and visibility, many black women in film and television continue to face challenges that are reminiscent of those endured by pioneers like Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, and Ruby Dee. Typecasting, pay disparities, fewer leading roles, and systemic bias remain issues that limit the full expression of talent. Modern actresses often navigate a delicate balance, pursuing opportunities for mainstream recognition while staying true to their identity, voice, and activism. The lessons from history are clear: remaining authentic and principled can sometimes come at a professional cost, but it also lays the foundation for long-term cultural change. Contemporary Hollywood now acknowledges some of the past wrongs, with initiatives for diversity and inclusion gaining traction. Awards recognition, film festivals, and independent projects have allowed more black actresses to shine in roles that reflect their complexity and humanity. Stars like Viola Davis, Regina King, Zendaya, and Lupita Nyong'o have become symbols of excellence and resilience, proving that talent combined with determination can overcome historical barriers. Their achievements are not just personal victories, they represent the breaking of systemic limitations that once confined generations of black women. However, these accomplishments also highlight the ongoing responsibility of the industry to ensure equitable opportunities, fair treatment, and respect for cultural identity. Beyond awards and high-profile roles, representation matters deeply in shaping societal perception. Films and television shows that portray black women in nuanced, multifaceted roles challenge stereotypes and expand public understanding. This shift is part of a long continuum that began with the brave resistance of the actresses in paragraphs 1 through 3. By asserting their worth, refusing to accept limiting stereotypes, and demanding opportunities that honor their talent, they created ripples that continue to influence the industry today. Modern audiences are increasingly aware of these historical struggles, and their support can reinforce the value of authenticity, equity, and inclusion in storytelling. Importantly, the courage of past actresses serves as inspiration for young black women pursuing careers in entertainment. By learning about the sacrifices of Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, Juanita Moore, and others, the next generation gains both a sense of history and a roadmap for resilience. They see that challenges exist, but so does the power to challenge injustice, fight for recognition, and redefine what is possible. Mentorship programs, diversity initiatives, and advocacy movements now help create spaces where talent can flourish without the constant threat of marginalization. These developments, while significant, also remind us that change is a process, not an instant achievement. The journey of representation is ongoing, shaped by both historical lessons and contemporary efforts to dismantle remaining barriers. In conclusion, the stories of these black actresses are not merely historical accounts, they are living lessons about courage, resilience, and the pursuit of justice in the face of systemic oppression. Their lives demonstrate that the path to equity is long and often fraught with obstacles, but each act of defiance and each decision to maintain integrity contributes to a broader legacy that transforms culture. As Hollywood continues to evolve, it must remember the sacrifices of those who came before and ensure that future generations of black actresses are recognized, celebrated, and allowed to thrive without fear of marginalization. Through reflection, advocacy, and continued awareness, the industry and audiences alike can honor the courage of these pioneers and commit to a future where talent and integrity are never compromised by race or bias. The journey of black actresses in Hollywood is a story of both heartbreak and hope. The challenges faced by pioneers like Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, Juanita Moore, Ruby Dee, Bea Richards, Teresa Harris, Nina Mae McKinney, Abby Lincoln, and Ruby Dandridge reveal a consistent pattern. Talent alone was not enough to guarantee success in an industry dominated by white men who controlled the power, money, and opportunity. These women were often forced to choose between integrity and visibility, advocacy and fame, identity and opportunity. Many paid an enormous personal and professional price for remaining true to themselves, yet their courage created the groundwork for future generations to follow. Today, black actresses benefit from this legacy, yet they must still navigate remnants of the systemic barriers that shaped Hollywood for decades. The historical context of these women's struggles reminds us that representation is not just about being seen on screen, it is about being respected, valued, and allowed to tell one's story authentically. The consequences of Hollywood's past exclusion continue to echo, influencing the types of roles offered, the opportunities available, and the recognition given. By reflecting on these stories, audiences can understand the resilience required to break through the limitations of a biased system. The sacrifices of these actresses were not in vain, they shifted perceptions, opened doors, and challenged norms, creating a space where authenticity, advocacy, and artistry could coexist. Modern Hollywood is beginning to acknowledge this history, with films, documentaries, and awards highlighting the contributions of black actresses who were overlooked or erased. Education about the lives of Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, and others helps ensure that their stories are not forgotten. Awareness of these struggles encourages current and future audiences, industry professionals, and aspiring artists to value diversity and equity in entertainment. It also serves as a call to action for viewers to support projects that prioritize representation, challenge stereotypes, and uplift marginalized voices. By celebrating the achievements of black actresses today, society honors the legacy of those who fought tirelessly against injustice and refused to compromise their identity for fame or fortune. The perseverance and resilience of these women continue to inspire not only performers but also anyone striving for justice, equality, and recognition in their own fields. Their lives demonstrate that systemic oppression can be challenged, that courage can create lasting impact, and that integrity is a powerful tool for change. They serve as reminders that talent, while essential, must be coupled with determination, advocacy, and a commitment to one's values. Each story of triumph and struggle contributes to a larger narrative about the importance of standing against injustice, both within Hollywood and beyond. As we honor the legacies of these black actresses, it is also crucial to recognize the ongoing work required to ensure equity in entertainment. While strides have been made in recent decades, true inclusion means going beyond token representation. It means creating meaningful roles that reflect the full humanity of black women, providing fair compensation, and allowing them the creative freedom to express themselves fully. It also requires challenging systemic biases, advocating for diversity behind the camera, and ensuring that the stories of marginalized communities are told accurately and respectfully. Only by addressing these structural issues can Hollywood fulfill its promise as a space where talent, creativity, and integrity are rewarded equally, regardless of race. Finally, these stories are a call for both reflection and action. Audiences can play a role by supporting films and projects that center black voices, educating themselves about the history of oppression in Hollywood, and engaging in conversations that promote awareness and understanding. Industry professionals can honor these legacies by mentoring, advocating for equity, and ensuring that marginalized voices have the resources and opportunities they deserve. Most importantly, aspiring black actresses can find inspiration and guidance in these pioneers, knowing that their struggles are part of a larger continuum of resilience, courage, and determination. In conclusion, the lives of Hazel Scott, Fredi Washington, Juanita Moore, Ruby Dee, Bea Richards, Teresa Harris, Nina Mae McKinney, Abby Lincoln, Ruby Dandridge, and other black actresses are more than historical anecdotes, they are enduring lessons in bravery, integrity, and perseverance. They remind us that talent alone is never enough in a biased system, but that courage, authenticity, and advocacy can leave a lasting mark on culture and society. Their stories challenge us to recognize past injustices, confront ongoing inequities, and continue the work of building a fair, inclusive, and respectful entertainment industry. By remembering and honoring these women, we ensure that their struggles, sacrifices, and achievements continue to inspire generations to come.